And you see that red box? Sync that time. All right. Here we go. So you feel like that speak to you as the desired customer? Become a successful artist?
Yeah.
So talk to me. If you just got this sheet.
How do I become a successful artist?
That's the burning question.
Yes.
So it's like it's 3 areas to think about for becoming a successful artist. Because when I'm looking at success as an artist, it's got the 3 different components that exist are the who are you, right? What is it that you do and what is it that you make? And how do you make money off of it? So just after years of studying being an artist and trying to become an artist, like out of all of the stuff that I done came across, I realized that if I wanted to be able to make something that spoke to people, I had to figure out how to say with my artwork what I would say in a conversation. So that creates a huge rabbit hole and journey for somebody to explore creatively, because if you got the desire to make stuff, it's like, well, what am I supposed to be making? How do I know what I'm supposed to be making? Am I making what I'm supposed to be? Like all these questions about if I can make anything, what is it that I'm supposed to be making, or what do I want to make? Now, mind you, this is before you trying to figure out how to make money. Like if you can figure out what it is you say in a conversation, and turn that into a painting, turn it into a photograph, turn it into a piece of music, turn it into a song, turn it into a dance routine. It's like it don't matter what the discipline is. If you can figure out how to express what it is you have to say, that's one of the key ingredients to figuring out how to be an artist. So when you see, so what you was thinking?
That's the first step.
Right. Well, I went through all 3. The who are you, what do you make, and how do you make money? Right. So it's them the 3 secrets. Then we're gonna dive into each one individually based on the points that I put down.
Yeah, you definitely gave some good points, because it's making your original pieces, and the only way that you make your original piece, as you being an artist, is digging into yourself and finding out. You gotta pull it out of you. Yeah, make it. That was good.
Yeah, it's something you gotta discover who you are
without you having to say nothing.
Yeah, you gotta discover who you are, and the way to discover who you are is you gotta explore who am I. Right. So when you see conceptual development, what conceptual development is how do I develop what it is I'm saying? How do I get better at that? How do I improve on that? This is what the who am I opens up. And what happens is the way you start to really develop yourself creatively is once you start to make things that represent who you feel like you are, you learn from the things that you've made that tell you what to do next.
That's right.
So it's 2 things you always grading yourself on. What is it what is it that I'm saying? And how am I saying it?
Definitely how.
So when you go to the what do you make, that's the creative part of you. When you look at the technical development, it's your technique. It's your skill. You draw, you paint, photography, rap, sing, whatever it is, it's your skill. And you want to make sure you develop in that skill. Meaning you want to be improving on it. You want to be learning more about it. You want to be studying it. You want to be growing technically. Whether it's new equipment, new strategy and technique that you've seen, something you want to add to your repertoire of your creative technique. So you want to be grading yourself on that. So when you're able to grow your technique and you're able to grow your conceptual, your concept, this is what makes you a stronger artist.
Knowing thyself first.
At least going on a journey of figuring out who you are. Because you're going to learn who you are once you go on that journey. And the work that you're making is what's going to teach you who you are. See, this ain't something you're going to figure out and then you're going to start making artwork. No, you're going to make artwork and the artwork is going to be revealing it to you. This is what people fall short with. People make art, they try to express something and they express something else and they express something else and they express something else. We get into the habit of making.
Yeah.
We fall in love with the technique and the technical experience.
The ability to make.
The ability to make. And a lot of times that's what most people's artwork is actually saying.
Yes.
Look at what I can do. Look at what I have made. Not look at what it's saying.
Right.
Can you hear what it's saying? Ooh. Did I say anything? See, because once you can do those two, then that's when it's really, really starting to vibrate. Once your work is doing that, it's that's when you really start to think about, so how do I make money off of it? Because a lot of times we thinking that first.
Yes.
And then when you're thinking about
that leads you into making. That leads you into look what I can do.
Yeah, well, look at what I can do. I'm doing what everybody else is doing.
Right.
Because I'm trying to make money off of it. What I perceive everybody else doing is making money off of it. I was 23. Somebody said to me, oh, making money off of it is easy. Figuring out what you want to say is the work.
Yes, it is.
And then you realize that the more you start to be able to say something, the easier it is to make money. Every time I went into a situation to make money, I didn't make no money.
Yep.
Every time, and once I started to develop myself conceptually, I started making money when I wasn't trying to. It was like I was trying to say something and I was trying to see if I said it. And that's what sold. That's what people started to buy.
Yeah.
So that's the technical development. So then if we go into how to make money, and you notice the way I broke it down is you got who am I, which is the artist. What do you make? That's the creative. How do you make money? That's the entrepreneur. It's like these are three hats you want to make sure you're wearing. And making money ain't the same as being an entrepreneur. Because an entrepreneur is a business strategy, which means you got to develop business habits. That's where all this value ladder, Russell Brunson, one person business model is studying entrepreneurship. Because when you study entrepreneurship, you realize that making money is very much rooted in sales and marketing. But sales and marketing require a story. You develop and discover and find and understand that story based on your conceptual journey and your technical journey. That's where you get the story from. The experience that you had becomes the materials that you plug into these business models. So if you're an artist who realize that you're going to make this stuff, you will make it for free because you love doing it. Well, you got to know that, and then you got to ignore that. Otherwise, you just get caught making the stuff for free forever. And if you know how to make money, but every time, the only way to make money is you still got to punch your own clock. Like you done created a job for yourself being an artist, meaning you got to go work every time you make money. It's hard to scale that. You might find clients who will spend a whole lot of money with you. But what happens is you still got to go work for yourself. You got to go to your own job. The way to scale and grow money is selling knowledge. So it's selling the experience that you had in developing yourself conceptually and developing yourself technically. That's why you just want to stay in a rhythm of developing both.
Gotcha.
Because that's just another story that you got to tell and explain when it's time to package up your sales and marketing strategy. And what you're selling is the knowledge that you've accumulated, because that money will support you being able to make whatever it is you want to make. And then that money you can invest in leveraging all of the stuff that you've made. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's the model.
That's the goal.
Yeah. It's them 3 points. And I feel like this right here is about to become my regular conversation. Because each one of them got books. Who am I? I mean, who are you? That's the Alchemist. That's the Creative Act. That's the Artist Journey. Them good books for who am I, right? Then what do you do? Techniques, technical development. That's books, videos, YouTube videos, workshops, conferences. That's anything you can go to where you sharpening your skill for what it is you know how to do. So that's how to anything in your field. That's how you develop yourself technically. Which you about to learn a new technique. You about to buy you a new tool. You about to create a new habit. You about to try to do it a different way. You about to experiment with what somebody else doing. You about to try to make up your own way to accomplish your own goal. How you trying to express what you're trying to say. The making money part, that turned into the Think and Grow Rich. The Expert Secrets. The How to Focus book. You know, you start looking at people who are entrepreneurs who sharing their tips on entrepreneurship, atomic habits.
That's it, bro.
And when you start focusing on one area, you start watching that area improve. You start realizing that you got to get to other areas to catch up. When I was trying to develop myself conceptually, I was creating scenarios for what I was going to make that my technical ability could not achieve. Because it was like, now I was being creative. And I was finding myself in challenges that my technique hadn't gotten as far as I needed it to get yet. And I'm like, oh, shoot, now I got to go work on my technique. And then every time I worked on my technique, I was saying nothing real good. And it's like, oh, let me go work on how to say something. It's like, oh, now I'm saying something real bad.
Yeah.
And then them two start to get to vibrate together. You know what I'm saying? They start to get to dancing. And then you starting to get real feedback from people. Not just, I like it.
Niggas going into depth about what you're talking about.
Yeah. They telling you the whole conversation that what you made is having with them. And then you start saying, so what did I do? And how do I do it again? And how do I make money off of it? It's still that red square still on the outside? Cool. What you thinking?
I'm thinking that this is the blueprint.
This is the blueprint.
To whatever you want to do, as far as yeah, it's the guideline.
Any questions come to mind?
You answer them. Because it's like what you do after you find out who you are. Right? You start making the material. And then the material is speaking for itself, which is ultimately brings the money.
Mm-hmm.
Some shit that a lot of people don't know just because we dwelling in the realm of this era we living in is for self. It's my phone, it's my picture, it's my work.
Mm-hmm.
So we get caught up in that. But fuck, what is your work saying? You just making it because you can make it? You know?
Right.
And I'm part of that. But I can see, as the layers peeling off, I say,
Mm-hmm.
that I got a lot.
You got a lot to say. You got a lot to say. So this is what somebody would mean if they came to you and said, it must be amazing being you. Like I would love to be you.
Nigga, you have been dead. Niggas would have been
dead. Not that they was you.
Oh, that's a fact.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like I would give anything to be able to leverage the experience that you done had.
The material.
That's what that's how, no, the experience.
I'm saying, but the experience
you had is the stories.
Right. And the stories actually produce the material.
And sell the product.
Yeah.
Without the stories, without the experience,
no sale.
Is no sale.
Yes.
Is nothing to sell.
Yes. Nobody wants to hear about no silver spoon shit. They should be one of my favorite. I've been I noticed that, but never noticed it for myself. That every and anybody that somebody or that's been put in their light has a story.
Right.
And that story ultimately leads you as the customer to buying into whatever they sell.
Exactly. Because some part of what's happening with their story is speaking to you.
Yes.
Yep. And the ones that's good at it, they doing it on purpose.
Yes, indeed. All the time.
All the time.
Whenever that camera on, yeah, when I was eating out the trash.
Yeah, he done told us about eating out the trash for 20 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah. I was homeless.
Yeah. 40 years ago.
Still pumping that same shit.
Yeah.
And it's going. It just definitely resonated with me. Shit. Because you ain't an artist just because you can paint.
Right.
This tells you something.
That's the reason why we see so much art that we trying to figure out how it got here. Why people like it, why people buy it, why people showcase it. That tells you that making art is about more than your ability to be able to technically execute something.
Right. It's going to be the ability ultimately to tell some type of story. True?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's kind of like what he say is like learning the technique. What do you make? I would say that's probably, well, one of them is working on the art and one of them is working on the science. So the art is the who you are. And the technique is the science.
Of who you are.
No, I'm just saying, like, as an artist, if you working on, you got to work on the art and you got to work on the science. The art is...
Whoever.
Yes.
Niggas think it's the other way around.
Right. Yeah, the art of it is who am I? Because when you can tap into that, you can make that. Mm-hmm. But if you ain't tapped into that, you just...
Throwing paint.
You executing technical abilities. You showing technical abilities. See, because when you add the art and the science up together, you get competent. Okay. And once you're able to do it, that's when you begin saying what it is you got to say.
Through the work.
Through the work. And you might have been saying some of it accidentally along the way. Mm-hmm. But eventually it stopped being an accident. It started being intentional. It started being, oh, this is what's on my mind. I'm about to say that and I'm about to use this technique because this technique is going to help carry that message over. A lot of times you're trying to see if this is the right technique for this message. Mm-hmm. And you learn that based on the response that you get. So, ain't no coincidence that I'm Donald Black photography, black and white photography, rich, contrasty, raw, gritty, moody, black and white images, whole lot of details. Like everything about my work speaks to who I am. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I developed.
Shit.
Huh?
Balloon memorials, because I ain't never seen nobody taking pictures of that.
Right. I say it all the time. If you're an artist, you're supposed to go inside your secret world that only you got access to and you're supposed to share it. You're supposed to share it with everybody. Yeah, you share that secret world that you got access to. You become a representative of the world that you are a part of. Because what's happening is you got people who are not representatives of the worlds that we are a part of coming in and telling our story.
Yes.
And that is the tension we feel when we experience an outsider's perspective.
Right. That was one of the things I used to be mad at. That's why I wasn't fucking around with the podcast shit.
And that's something that I had to learn. What I realized is when I was experiencing some of this work or some of these conversations or some of these discussions, the person talking, they was outside of the environment. Mm-hmm. Because what they was describing, I realized they was describing me. Mm-hmm. And I realized that you describing me and it's inaccurate.
I ain't never seen you, nigga.
You looking from the outside, I'm looking from the inside. We got two different perspectives on what's going on.
Mm-hmm. I got the real shit though.
I got the real perspective.
You was a teller, nigga. You just want to be a speaker.
You describing what you think you looking at. You don't even know what you looking at. You trying to describe it. Mm-hmm. See, I can tell you what you looking at because I can see you. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. I'm inside the house. I'm inside the car. You outside the car.
I hate that shit. That's what led me not to be on podcasts, bro. No shit. Because I noticed all them niggas that's on podcasts, and even the ones in the city, you niggas ain't never been down there.
Right.
Oh, man, I'm from East Cleveland. No, you was in the house in East Cleveland.
Right.
Your cousins stayed down there, nigga.
Yeah, I say kids who couldn't leave the porch. Porch niggas, house niggas. Street niggas, field niggas.
Yeah, straight up.
You know what I'm saying?
Straight up. Yep.
Like if your calling card was the street lights, or you was 4 streets away waiting for some screaming lady to yell your name in the middle of the night.
Dad.
Versus the one that's like, I seen him go down. He was on his bike. He went down the street and he went to the right. See, we two different people. Mm-hmm. You seen what I was doing. I was doing it.
Yeah, nigga, you was on the porch.
You was on the porch.
And come outside, nigga.
Yeah.
This shit is incredible, man.
So I think we're good. Because we're going to keep this conversation, we're going to keep this conversation going from these frames. This is going to be the continuous conversation.
This is the conversation.
Yes. Because this is what we've been talking about the whole time. Just not
structured.
Not on paper.
Gotcha. You
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because I'm conscious of.
It's different seeing it too, though.
It's different, way different seeing
man.
it. It's way different seeing it. It's like, oh, right, this is what we're doing. This is what we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm. And it's in order.
And it's a whole process of how I learned this. Like, so even your conversations with me and your questions can get real technical. Like, where the fuck did you get conceptual and technical from? Nigga. Because when I got a whiff of it, that shit blew my mind.
I couldn't wait to hear what the fuck that meant.
Right. Nigga.
What? Technical?
When I got to college. I got my first grade on the assignment. I had 2 grades. It was conceptual, it was technical. I'm like, what the heck is that?
Yeah,
Nigga,
I'm thinking sex.
I was getting an A on technique. I was getting a C on conceptual. Shit was fucking me up. Like, what the fuck is this conceptual thing that I can't figure out how to improve this? I can't even figure out how to improve this grade. Nigga, I was doing backflips in the dark room. I was the only nigga with beautiful prints or everything exposed right. I got amazing photographs of fucking nothing. I knew how to lay these techniques on anything. Nigga, I was getting good grades on photographing a Sprite bottle and shit. Nigga, I was photographing the academic label and logo, the Timberland boot and shit. You know what I'm saying?
So consensual, once again, is what?
Conceptual is what am I saying?
Consensual. See, like think about sex.
Yeah, concept. Concept is what am I saying?
With your work.
With your work. And that's rooted. What's rooted in what you're saying is who you are. That's the deeply rooted thing.
So you got to find out who the fuck you is before you start doing some work, basically.
As soon as you make a list and you say, who am I? And you make you a list. As soon as you make that list,
and you start painting from that.
You're going to have a whole bunch of ideas. You're going to have images popping through your head the whole time you're looking at the fucking list. Instantly. What am I attracted to? You know what I'm saying? What's the shit? What do I like just because I like it? Because I like this shit, which means it's a whole world of people that like it, meaning I got a whole audience that I ain't even tapped into.
Man.
That I can speak to the experience that they having because I'm having the same experience.
Or I done had it.
Or I done had it. Yeah, so I got stories inside of all of this stuff.
Man. Learn from what you made.
So the strategy was, I looked at my work, learning from what I made. I said, oh, this just is a wonderful display of technical exercises. This is what I said to myself at 23 years old. I looked at it and I was like, man, this just is amazing technical exercises. The shit is all over the place. Some of it's talking about something, and I ain't do that on purpose. Some of it ain't saying nothing, but it all looked good as fuck. Mm-hmm. So I said, I need to create from the place that I did when I was a kid, which was making stuff for no reason. Mm-hmm. And then once I make stuff for no reason, I'm going to look at that stuff and see what my subconscious is trying to say. And then when I'm evaluating that stuff, I'm going to lean into that stuff harder. I'm going to develop that stuff. But first, it's like walking in the dark with my eyes closed, producing something. Open my eyes and say, oh, this is what I made. I need to take a deep dive in all of these different areas. And then when I look up, the different things that I was making spoke to a specific audience, and that specific audience becomes my ideal customer
buying your shit
for what I need to sell.
Boy, I can look at your work now and know that you're saying something.
And then this is the other thing, the how to make money part, the entrepreneur part, it don't got to be limited to having to use your skill to make money.
It's the selling of the knowledge.
It's the selling of the knowledge. Like the knowledge that you've accumulated in developing the skill is just sitting there waiting to be shared and sold. Because I believe this is the way to build the audience and build the following that supports the work that you're making, is by sharing and selling the knowledge that you got. Because you're gonna get two customers. People who trying to learn how to be an entrepreneur as an artist, and people who appreciate the message of what your work is speaking to. And then when you're doing it right, you get both. You get people who engaged in what you done learned, and then they buying the work in support of it because they want to make sure that you keep making and learning.
That's hard. Maybe it's a bit of sense.
You good. That was good.
That was great. That lighting is hard as fuck.